and see what he has to say. Baseball humorist that you can find here on LA Angels Insider. We'll be back in a few.
Welcome back to Angels Insider Radio. I'll tell you what, you both have the green light to bring Ricardo onto the show anytime you want. That guy was fun. That was a fun segment. And Jason, you said that some of the most enthusiastic and entertaining people you will meet are Angel fans. And I believe you. I absolutely believe you. The proof was in the pudding, good sir.
Speaking of that, I got a question from Joe Gillhand. He's at JoeGill_HTH. He says, Angels, who should we be more afraid of, Texas signing Prince Fielder or you, Darvish? I say Fielder, no question.
That's difficult because I almost feel like they're a package together. Because if they only sign one of them, I wouldn't be that fearful of the Rangers. Good team, but I think we've made enough strides this offseason to be the better team. But if you had to pick one, I think I'd have to go with you, Darvish, just because I think he's more of a wild card. And we've seen Fielder. We know what he brings to the table. That team was already offensively potent. I don't think they need to have Fielder. I'm cool with them if I'm a Rangers fan, having Moreland out there. I think you need the staff ace because they have a lot of guys, a Matt Harrison, a Colby Lewis, maybe Ogando, Neftali. I don't know if anyone's really a staff ace. Because we saw Felice last year, strikeouts per 9 innings went down. Ogando kind of fizzled in the second half. Harrison's kind of hit or miss. Colby Lewis gave up like 30 home runs. So I think they really need...
Derek Holland's got a JV mustache.
Oh, by the way, I guess I did forget Holland. But we saw Holland, as good as he was in the playoffs, the guy got sent down to AAA.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. I mean, I like a lot of their arms, but they just don't have that one guy. It's like if they were to go into a playoff series, who's their number one? I don't know. They're all kind of the same to me. They all have some great talent, and they all have some giant flaws. So, well, and the same could be said for Darvish.
I think what you look at when you see the Texas Rangers is a team much like the Milwaukee Brewers with Prince Fielder, where you have a very good offense, you have a couple of weapons in the center of that lineup, much deeper lineup than Milwaukee's, but you still, like you said, yeah, they have that pitching issue where you don't know how many of those starters you're going to be able to trust in long periods of time. Unfortunately, I don't think that we would feel that confident. If you, Darvish, was the Angels' fifth starter or the New York Yankees' fifth starter, would you feel like it's a great pickup, or is that just kind of an okay pickup? Because the unknown factor, I think we're rating it as maybe a little bit higher than it is. If he ends up being a 4 or 5 guy, I think it's Prince Fielder.
You're right, but see, that's the thing is I think he's closer to a 1 than a 4 or 5, and that's interesting you brought up Milwaukee, right? Because I thought Greinke and Gallardo seemed like a 1, and Markham, but Markham to me,
But the difference is,
to me, he was a 3 because
any of those guys, as good as they were, and Giovanni might be one of the best 5-10 pitchers in all of baseball when he's on.
Yep.
But any of those guys, you just feel like could get crushed on any given night, and they did get crushed on any given night. Greinke had a pretty good year. Gallardo had a pretty good year. But I still think overall, if you're going to go back to your analogy, in a short playoff series, I don't know that I can necessarily trust any of them to go out and get the win, and ultimately Milwaukee couldn't.
If I'm Nolan Ryan, I'm going to go get Roy Oswalt for a year and get Prince Fielder for 7.
And I think if you do that and you add Darvish, then there's a race out west that's the equivalent of the Yankees-Red Sox, because what the Angels have done, and if Texas makes moves to that magnitude on a very good team that's already appeared in 2 World Series, you got your hands full.
See, and talking about Oswalt, I have no interest in Oswalt. Great pitcher, spectacular career. I don't want a pitcher that has a bad back. And I think we can see, based on the market, that he's only basically getting a 1-year offer right now. And I think that's the writing on the wall that nobody's interested. And I remember hearing Mark Mulder, another great pitcher who experienced back problems.
Sure.
He said, look, I've talked to Oswalt, and his injury is worse than my injury. And my career pretty much fizzled after I sustained the injury. And I don't know how he's going to do it.
All right, that's Morgan Spokny. I'm Jason Brennan. We're in with Eric Denton. This is LA Angels Insider. We'll be back in a few. Welcome back to LA Angels Insider Radio on LAAngelsInsider.com. Thanks for checking out the new site. Eric Denton, Chief Editor. Chief, is that what we call you? Is it like Spider-Man where you're the chief? We come in, and if I got a new story, I throw it on your desk, and I say, "Hey, Chief!"
Can I call him Jefe? Or El Comandante?
Or I think, when I work, I have a project going on at a gym I'm opening, big sports facility, Next Level Sports Complex. Check it out online. Good,
nice plug, by the way.
Shameless plug right there. The guys coming in that are doing the floor all call me the Patron.
The Patron.
Okay. Now, is that silver or gold?
Similar. Wow. I'm a big silver fan. I can enjoy a little Patron silver from time to time.
I'm more of a gold man myself.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't meet that many people.
It's a subtle difference, but I mean, I kind of like the flavor that the gold brings to the table.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll on the next show we'll have to line them up and do a
blind taste test.
A blind taste test is always good to do. So anyway, we have Chief Editor in charge of content, Eric Denton, and Morgan Spokny, the spokester. We're going to get him to start using Twitter very soon.
Probably not going to happen, but
throw out some stuff on there. So, want to talk about some of the other American League action, maybe some of the other action around baseball that affects former Angels or how it's going to affect the team going forward. The Diamondbacks just signed Joe Saunders, a one-year deal, $6 million, 2.7 less than what his projected salary was through arbitration. But he's going to kind of fit in that fourth or fifth spot on the Diamondbacks rotation. A player I was really kind of hoping, holding out some hope that the Angels would bring him back.
You know what? Actually, I have a beef. For as good as this offseason has been, when Joe Saunders and Ryan Madson both walk away with one-year deals, I know the payroll's about as high as it's going to get around here, but I don't know. Those are two guys that could really have made a very good club a great club. Madson 1 year, $8 million. He wants to go back on the market next year when his contract with Scott Boras is also up.
Yeah, I agree with you about Madson. I disagree about Joe Saunders. Nice pitcher, but I'd like to see what Garrett Richards could bring to the table. I think if we're looking at pure stuff, Richards is a far better pitcher. I mean, if we're comparing velocity,
well, I think you could. Well,
he's a better pitcher. Now you could say,
at this point, I think they're
maybe Richards is a better thrower, not necessarily a better pitcher. But I'd like to see what the young guy can bring to the table.
Don't you think Williams is going to end up getting that starting spot at this point?
Yes, but I want to throw out there that Williams has never gone more than 130 innings in a season. So to consider him a full-time fifth starter is asking a lot.
Neither is Richards.
And I did see that Jerome Williams down in winter ball has been throwing lights out right now.
Very good. Very good offseason so far.
Yep.
I would have liked to have seen Joe Saunders come back, especially on a one-year deal. No secret, Joe Saunders was a guy that I really enjoyed in the Angels clubhouse. He was always good to us on the pregame show. Good guy overall. I think that he was well-liked in the clubhouse. He was a bit of a leader in the clubhouse. And for that reason, and the fact, 3.69 ERA last year, his ground ball rate was a little bit higher. He had gotten a little out of shape his last couple of years with the Angels. Came back in 2010 in better shape before the trade. I think maybe he was working all that stuff out. I would have liked to have seen him back in an Angel uniform, especially if you're looking at throwing him a one-year deal at the fifth starter spot.
And I think that was kind of interesting when you said, I think as a GM or someone building a team, you really do need to balance bringing in good guys and guys that can produce. And ideally, it'd be great to bring in a good guy that can produce. Not saying that Saunders is a guy that can't produce, but if history has a telling sign here, he hasn't been exceptional. And I think the rest of the league agrees with me because he wasn't a guy that was highly coveted.
There's reason to believe that he might be an NL pitcher only, but I think you could add a lot, adding another lefty to the Angels rotation.
Right. I hear you. I mean, I would agree. Ryan Madson we saw last year was a dominant pitcher. He stepped right in for Brad Lidge, did not miss a stride. So I'm a huge proponent, advocate, whatever you want to say, of bringing in Madson because I do think we could use that bridge to Jordan Walden. Wouldn't necessarily be the guy to go out and get that fifth starter. I kind of like what we have in-house.
All right. Other Angels news. Angels avoid arbitration on a couple of players, Alberto Callaspo, Eric Ibar. Now, a lot of players that could be eligible for free agency at the end of this year. But for now, all the key players all locked up.
Yeah, no, and I really like avoiding arbitration because it's that I'm good, no you're not type of argument, which is only going to degrade a clubhouse, degrade a player's confidence. So I like that they just locked things up, and going forward, everyone's on the same page, and everyone's got a confidence that's sky high. Keeping with the theme, speaking of high confidence, that's it. That's all she wrote. We're done. The three wise men are officially done.